Now we are here today and just getting to listen and to know how has divorce care impacted us and in our different ways, so that we can share that. And I would like to start maybe just randomly, maybe Purity, you can tell us, as maybe a woman of God, a pastor in a church, how has divorce been like, going through divorce while serving in a church? How easy or hard has it been?
Thank you, Jenny. Has it been easy? No, it has not been easy, especially when you have to be serving, directly in church. But I thank God that I got support from the church, and having to go through DC also, it helped me to heal, to forgive, and to actually accept myself the way I am. And by the time I was joining DC, I wanted to equip myself to be able to work with others, because being in the in the leadership of a church, you have to definitely work with these people, but you can't work with them when you yourself you're not healed. So for me, I received healing from DC, and I thank God that the church supported me even through this journey.
Okay, thank you for that. Maybe I would like Pastor Geoffrey, you can tell us, or you can have your input to what Purity has said. Being a pastor serving in a church, how has it been for you?
Initially, it was difficult because as a pastor and having served in the ministry for quite a long time, well, long is relative, definitely, but experienced some stigma, discrimination, and then of course there was desertion by friends, so it was difficult. The invitations that were coming by lords, of course they stopped, and I ended up alone. But having joined divorce care, and I found some new friends, I found some ministers that have also gone through it, gave me a lot of encouragement. And also the support of Parklands Baptist Church has been great, because the leadership of Parklands Baptist Church has embraced me, has embraced the ones that have been doing divorce care, and in such a way it has made it easier to continue and to look forward to going back into the ministry. That notwithstanding, where I am serving right now, the leadership is mellowing towards accepting. I remember my presiding bishop on the 5th talking very, very clearly that they're not going to label people, because people have been labeled a lot, divorcees and all that. These are wounded people. These are people that need help. They don't need labeling. So they're looking into ways in which anyone, because we are family, we are human beings, and we need to help each other. So they're looking into ways in which even within the congregation, how people are going to get help, because these things are happening. They're happening to whether you're a Christian or you're not a Christian. It's happening, and all of us need healing. So I can say that's my experience when it comes to the church.
Okay. Maybe this goes to Pamela. And I would like, they've spoken the issues that they experience in church. And as you introduced yourself, I'm concerned about, you talked of your churchless. Maybe you can take us through a bit, maybe what led you to that point. Did you used to go to church before then you stopped? And at this point, are you convinced, or are you that you can go back to church after doing divorce care?
Thank you, Jenny. There are church wounds. Church wounds are real. Like, you are going through stuff. You are so confused yourself. You don't know what is going on in your life, and you expect the church community to embrace you. But they don't do it. Instead, they give you the kiss of Judas. Instead, they are the ones who are kind of walking up and down with your name. And this feedback comes back to you, and you get even more and more disappointed. I was in a member of the Seventh Day Adventist Church for a long time. I even rose to the position of a second church elder, and I was a staunch Seventh Day member. They even brought up my family and my children in the Seventh Day faith. However, issues of divorce, they don't come knocking. You just wake up one day and discover that you are in a season that you didn't call for. And it is a very devastating season and a very tumultuous season in one's life. So when you find that church members are not embracing you, and in the confusion, in you really finding out, why me, God? What's happening to me? I've served you. I've given you your all. I've given it my all. Why have you picked up on me? And when people throw mud at you, you feel the best way out is to step aside and find you. So I stepped out of the church, not because somebody lifted a finger to me or because somebody mocked me, but the feedback I would get over my situation really added salt into the injury. So in finding me, I had to go out of the church. And therefore, in finding me, I had to seek the face of the Lord. And in seeking the face of the Lord, there is a transformation that took place, because he says that he is a spirit and is looking for those who are seeking him in spirit and in truth. So that transformation started taking place in the inside of me. And I saw how God is good and how his works are marvelous. And I found that joy in having a relationship with him, because now he is a relational God. It's not about religion. It's not about dogmas. It's not about me trying him to fit in my box. So having found this revelation, where I am now, I am in crossroads, because I know where I am from and I know where I want to be. And I kind of find it, I'm not able to fit where I was. So by God's grace, this 5 years has taken me. I believe that is going to point me to the right congregation to join in. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, Pamela. And I think this question or concern goes now to Ravi, because I think we thought that divorce resides with the Africans, but now seeing you this other end, maybe you can take us through just trying to understand how was it like in your community going through divorce, and did you find support in your religion, or how was it like?
Thank you, Jenny. Interesting question. I would relate my gender and my community together, because there's a different level of support that you get if you're a woman vis-a-vis how you are as a man. Firstly, in Asian community, divorce is not something which is talked about openly. It's considered more as a fault in the system, and everyone, irrespective of whatever the issue would be, just tells you, make it work. Even if you're unhappy, you just stick with it. Divorce is a taboo. This is not something within our family. This is not something within our community that we encourage. So you have to just make it work. However, just to give you a brief background, so I was married to a local African as well. So I had already broken those boundaries of the culture. So, and yet I would say for the time it was beautiful. So the cracks, part of it is also cultural, part of it is us, irrespective of whichever culture we belong to. We are human beings at the end of the day, and we have our own weaknesses. So when that process was going on for me, I'll be candid enough to say this was not something I could discuss openly within my community. And to the people that I opened to, they did not know how to handle it, especially from the fact that my marriage was interracial marriage. So it was kind of difficult for me to seek support. And even as a man, it's not something that I would go out seeking help from. It's something like, I need to be strong and handle it myself. That's how we were raised. So it was a difficult season till actually I found DC, which helped me understand and cope with the range, the spectrum of emotions that I was going through. So it's not something which is either encouraged within the community, or we have adequate support systems to be able to handle the emotions or the hurt, the pain that you're going through.
Okay. Yeah, so Rose, maybe I'll give an opportunity to ask Ravi a question as you bring in the issue of co-parenting, which I know is an elephant in the house for the divorced. How you've been able to deal with co-parenting? Has it been easy, and how have you been able to break even as far as that is concerned?
Okay, thank you, Jenny. And like you said, I want to ask him, how has it been, especially the fact that you had already broken the fast traditions, and then already you in it, in divorce. How did your community respond to your divorce? Because I'm sure the impact of divorce comes from very different areas. The way people think, like, okay, we knew and we told you, because most of us maybe, and other people could be going through the same feeling, like I failed because I failed my community first. How would you separate the two?
Well, I think I'm a different personality. I think I'm a rebel when it comes to my community, because I'd already broken the boundaries or the so-called norm of marrying into a different culture. For me, it was love and person. For me, it was not so much about race or religion. So, which was not an easy thing for people within my community to understand. And yes, I did get some nuances, that different cultures have different predicaments. However, I did not pay heed to it. And when this thing happened, even though indirectly there were some smart blokes who told me, remember, we told you, But then again, for me, my mindset is totally different. For me, I don't equate one person to a particular, that is a representation of a whole culture or whole race. In terms of co-parenting, initially it was very difficult. It was heartbreaking because to an extent I did not have access to my child. And not only me, it was also difficult for the child as well. We had to take the child through counseling as well, because she was going through a lot of emotional turmoil. And being young, she's not able to articulate. But we could see the manifestation of that confusion, that grief, that pain of being separated. And initially, it was so acrimonious that it was one of those ones where a kid is feeling torn apart, and yet that's not her doing. So we had to go through a lot of counseling. Elders came into place, and we had to seek help of a counselor, not a professional counselor, not so much people from my community, to make us understand that it's still our responsibility as parents. And we understood that, and through a journey of forgiving, through a journey of conflict management, understanding through DC program as well, and also having grace of God, that we are able to co-parent, and we look at the bigger picture, bigger issues, as opposed to who's right or who's wrong. That has been a saving grace for us.
Wow, thank you. Thank you for clarifying. What you're saying here is anyone can divorce. And it doesn't mean because your marriage failed, your culture is responsible. One thing that the divorce care program has helped us know is there are things that people could, maybe they said about your marriage, we should not be guilty It is by the grace of God that marriages survive. And just in case ours fail doesn't mean that now we actually took all the culture, like you must take through everyone in your family to approve your marriage. We believe God is the one who helps us. Let's talk about the co-parenting. Divorce, I must share my experience and say I'm one person who didn't want to hear anything to do with my ex. During my season, that is season 7, I was one person that was very hard. I had actually put great walls, and divorce care program helped me know that there is a child here who is innocent. There are kids who are innocent, and I had to swallow my pride. I needed God to help me, to heal me first. As a parent, you know very well that if I don't swallow my pride, if I don't invite God through this journey, then I was not to become a good parent. I thought I was the offended partner. But then I realized we all had our issues here. And so co-parenting, it made me swallow my pride to a point I had to reach out to my ex-spouse to let him know, let's parent these kids together. And as a result, my kids are happy. As a result, I am able to communicate clearly with a lot of respect. So we are here to say divorce care has really helped us to know that it is for the interest of these children. It is not about your partner. He or she belongs to God. That is something that was very key, that he or she belongs to God, but then God gave us children together. So by that, we are able to bring up kids who are innocent, to make them live up to the purposes that the Lord has called them to. And so we are very grateful for this season, and thank you, Jenny, for the opportunity.
Great to hear that. Michael, now is your turn. And I know these could be a big question for you, but I believe you will be able to address it. And it's the matter sexuality, is expected by the society, by the church. Now we are divorced. You're meant to abstain. You're meant to be, secondary purity. How has it been with you? Because, we understand, we can't ignore that fact. We are human. You'll get tempted. You'll get those moments, What has helped you to stay away from temptation? Or what have you been keeping yourself busy so that you don't get to fall into such kind of temptations?
Well, I think for me, the fact that, according to me, in my relationship with my ex, is that I was very romantic, and that's what I thought, and that I would say, wanted a situation whereby I would be sexually intimate, and she, at some point towards the end of the relationship, didn't want that. So for me, I came out there doubting myself in terms of my levels of sexual intimacy, thinking that, you know what, I can't manage, I can't do this, because of what I felt was her judgment. And I took her judgment to be what every woman would think. So for me, that is the situation I came out of. So when I then went, say, out there and met ladies, I started saying to myself that I am not able to satisfy them sexually. Hence, I wouldn't even think they would be interested in me sexually. And this is where I think DC came in, is to try and get me to understand who I am as Michael. That before this, I thought, you know what? Yeah, I'm a sexy guy, and I think women would find me sexy. So I think now I have changed my perception, and I'm thinking that, whoever it is that I'm going to meet and possibly marry, then I would be able to be sexually intimate with them. Then also picking up on something else is the fact that the people you hang around with, and this is something that I get a lot, and they say, well, how can you stay alone? I mean, that's, I think for guys, I don't know about the rest of the gentlemen here, but I think that's, what I've been getting, and I think men kind of discuss that, how can you just stay like that? You have to have someone in the house. And I try and tell some of my friends, well, you don't have to. You can kind of just wait and find that person and wait until you're supposed to. But then There's this thinking that, oh no, you know what? You need to show that you're a man. And then also vice versa, whereby people talk about from the lady's perspective. And I'm going to use this phrase. I know maybe it is not the correct phrase to use in a church environment, but ladies, I'm sure you get this, where people say, well, you need to be serviced, right? And that's what I hear. You need to be serviced. So, you know, the society out there is thinking that, you know, when you're divorced, they've kind of, according to me, given you leeway to be promiscuous. Yeah. And so I think this is where now DC comes in to say, hey, you know, you are a person as you are. You don't have to fit into this description of what people think you should be. And so DC has helped me a lot in that particular area to try and understand myself and appreciate myself and feel that whoever it is I will find in the future will appreciate me too.
Good. That's amazing, Michael. Yeah. So, getting to you and having traveled all the way from Nyeri to Nairobi, I'm concerned of a support system and maybe the people around you, your family, your friends. Did you get support, or did they embrace the fact that you are now divorced? Yeah, maybe you can share a bit of that.
Okay, I can say that I'm very lucky. I come from a very close-knit family, and I'm their eldest. And as a result of that, I represented hope for them in terms of, I was the first to wed in church, and their hope was on me. And when it failed, they were in disbelief. And I had to find, well, they came around me. They made sure I was always okay. They are always calling. And so I can say I'm lucky, because there are people who may not have that kind of support. As soon as it happens, they have to be away. But that does not say that I did not try to isolate myself, because I was not very proud. I didn't go into marriage so that it can break. So when it broke, and I decided now, okay, the best way to deal with this first, I would like to go and live very far from Nairobi. I was born and brought up in Nairobi. I would like to go and live back there. My parents hailed there. And so I moved there, and I was totally isolated. I was isolating myself. And at the same time, people around you are not comfortable with your new status. And they want to isolate you too. So I can say I was just lucky that I had the support system, and they've been there from that time to date. They are always around my business. Yes.
Wow. Good to hear that. Yes, I'm really glad that we've had amazing testimonies. This is what God is able to do. These people have allowed us into their lives just to see and hear the transformation that has happened. And here is one message, that it is possible. You know, you might have gone through divorce, you might have been broken, but it's possible to heal. It's possible to recover. It's possible to bounce back. You know, this is a family that you can come in, and they will walk with you. We call ourselves Tribe 48 because this is a tribe that we understand our language, we understand one another. So if you are out there going through separation, going through divorce, don't agree to go through that season alone. There are people who can walk with you. I welcome you to sign up for Divorce Care Season 9 that is coming up sometime in August. Kindly get in touch with Parklands Baptist Church, and also our gratitude and thanksgiving to Parklands for the opportunity they've given us, and they have embraced us to come and heal and be whole again. Thank you very much.